All right, welcome back. We continue live right here on Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani, Andrew Fillipponi. We are joined by a host of callers. So, Pony, let's get right to it, beginning with Herb and Renfrew. Hello, Herb. How are you?
Hey, Herb.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob and Andrew. Thanks a lot for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yep.
My question is, do you guys think the poor play of the Steelers' offensive line last year was due to Big Ben's injury or loss of Mike Munchak or age, or after all, the year before they had 3 offensive linemen make the Pro Bowl?
I think it was just bad quarterback play, erratic, I should say, at times. And I think that affected everybody, Andrew.
Well, but I see here the trouble we're running into, Bob, is I just don't think Ben Roethlisberger is a great quarterback, but I don't think everybody's excuse last year for what was the worst offense in the NFL, I don't think it's all because they subtracted Ben Roethlisberger. Because if that's true, how did Deontay Johnson put up the kind of numbers he did? How did he pull that off? How did we see James Washington actually make some plays downfield? There were a couple of exceptions to this, what seems to be this blanket rule that everybody got worse because Roethlisberger was gone. Everybody's job got harder, but I don't like saying that that's the reason why everybody took this enormous dip last season.
No, but if you have to circle one player whose absence had a lot to do with everything, it's Ben Roethlisberger. I think clearly.
Sure, but how about Pouncey snaps?
Look at their points per game total,
snaps?
Andrew. I mean, regardless of what Deontay Johnson did or James Washington, they didn't score points. And that's what comes down to quarterbacking more than anything to me. And so I understand what you're saying, but we're going to see in year 2. Go ahead.
Here's what I want to know. If that's true, if what you're saying is true, that the quarterback play was so abysmal that it made everybody worse, it made the line worse, it made Connor worse, it made Juju worse, why do they believe that Mason Rudolph is the quarterback of the future? If he was that pathetic and their offense was that putrid, why did the Steelers in the same breath say, we believe in Mason Rudolph?
Because they saw a lot from him, and I didn't say it made everybody putrid. What I said was they did not score enough points. They went from averaging what they did the year before when they were number 1 in the red zone to being almost dead last in the red zone.
They were dead last.
That's where quarterback play comes into, and I think if you don't have it, everything else is allowed to, defenses can, get on their heels,
sure,
or on their toes and come after you, and all of a sudden it makes you a one-dimensional kind of game, and that's not good in the red zone. That's why I think Roethlisberger's presence will be big. All right, let's go out to Bill in Castle Shannon. What's up, Bill? How you doing?
Okay, Bob, how you doing?
We're doing good, thank you.
Hey, Bill.
Okay, hey, that Monday night Steelers game, I don't know why the line's so low, and that's 4.5, but I'd have to take
It's not.
the Steelers,
it's up to 6.
I saw
not.
7.
It's going up and up and up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then it started out at 4.5. I got a 4.5.
Well, then you should revoke your ticket and go back and do it again.
Yeah. Well, another thing, the Steelers, the only thing I'm afraid of, if Ben gets hurt again, then that's going to be the end of the Steelers season.
Well, I think you can say that about a lot of players in the NFL if certain guys go out, but I do think their defense is good enough to – I think one thing, Andrew, their defense is going to be in a better place because they will score more points, and they could play from ahead as opposed to playing from behind sometimes. I don't know if they're going to generate the same amount of turnovers. That was an awful lot they forced last year, but they don't have to. All they have to do is be good in terms of reducing the amount of points the other team scores, and I think they can show that they can do that. And I expect Minka in year number 2, especially since he's had an entire season here as opposed to coming in week 3 like he did last year, I think you're going to see an even better version of him.
Yeah, so do I. I think Minka will make even, maybe he doesn't have 5 interceptions again, but I think his stardom shows up in different ways. I think Devin Bush will be better in his second year. I think Watt will show no signs of regression. I think Cam Hayward and Tua will be great bookends at defensive end. I mean, corners are also very solid. You've got backups like, well, I guess he's not a backup because he's a nickel back, but even depth guys like Hilton and Sutton, I think, are considerably better than what the Steelers have had in the past. They should be, with a defensive-minded coach in Mike Tomlin, there's no reason why, Bob, they shouldn't be the number 1 defense in the entire NFL this year.
Yeah, and I would, even though they haven't put it up yet, you can argue this is the best defensive team he's had in terms of what you see on paper right now. Whether or not they can execute it and take it to a different level this year, that's going to be the test. But if they can and do some damage in the postseason, you'll look at this defense as one of the best he's ever had. Let's go to David in Blawnox. Hey, David, welcome to the Sports Call.
Hi,
How
David.
are you?
Hey, guys. Great show. Love it.
Hey, David. Thank you.
Maybe enlighten me as to why the Steelers signed Dobbs
when for weeks there was all these other quarterbacks available?
Well, this is a third quarterback. This is not somebody who's going to be the primary backup for now. And I think they still like his knowledge of the system, Andrew. I think they also like his legs. He can do things, especially if he comes into a game late like that and they need him. He can turn some plays into positives that could be negatives. I just think they like what they had, his familiarity with the system, and he was available, so they went after him. And I think he is an upgrade over Hodges.
I think he's an upgrade over Rudolph.
I know you do.
He's only thrown 12 passes in regular season NFL games. He was good enough to beat out Mason 2 years ago. He didn't get cut. He got traded by the Steelers because Nick Foles got injured last year, and they saw an opportunity there. He's got one, Tomlin said it today, he's got one NFL skill. He's got one quarterback skill that is upper echelon. He can move. And I'm still waiting to see what Mason Rudolph's NFL skill is. It's not the deep ball. His percentage on throws downfield, for as big as his arm is, he was one of the least accurate passers beyond 15 yards last year. And it wasn't because he was facing great deep defense, Bob, because everybody was coming in down at the line of scrimmage because they were trying to stop the run. They faced 8-man boxes all the time. So go figure.
Yeah, well, it was year one for him, really, even though he's never been in the NFL. He was the first year was more of just an acclimation period. So, I mean, there's room to grow, and I think the Steelers are patient enough to wait on certain guys. We'll see what it means. Meantime, our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day comes from your partner up there at 93.7 The Fan, the PM team. It's Chris Meller, who says this. After a really good game again by Eric Gonzalez, Pirates, by the way, won in the bottom of the ninth. Newman with a walk-off of some variety. I didn't see it because we were on the air, but he says, is Eric Gonzalez kind of good? You know, Andrew, this is one of the things about a player like that. The Pirates they need players who are going to take advantage of opportunities and turn it into something that they can actually try to look at next year and figure out where this guy would fit. And I think he's going to be your starting shortstop and should be your starting shortstop.
He's the Pirates' favorite player of all time. He's playing for free this year. Did you know that?
I knew
because
that, yes.
Because the money he got at the beginning of the year, the owners fronted players some money before the season started back in March, and that money exceeded what he was set to make this year. So he is literally playing for $0.00 right now.
Bob Nutting loves those kind
bargain.
of players. There's no question about it. We got to take a break. More calls on the way right here live on Pittsburgh CW. Don't go away.